I've certainly never done anything like this.
The race will take place August 22nd and 23rd. It'll be a free event for the public to attend. Now, Danny Fleener never thought he'd become a runner, but after a talk with his dad, he got into the sport and he's never looked back. And now he's about to complete a rare running feat.
From 0 to 26.2 miles, Danny Fleener just decided to go the distance.
I didn't see the purpose of starting small. Plus, I figured it was just going to be one and done.
Well, one turned into two, which turned into many more.
So I ran the second one, Quad Cities. And I was like, oh, I did that. On average, there's been about 2, but there's been some. Like I did the New England Challenge, this was 6 marathons in 6 days in 6 states. And there's been some I've done 4 in a year, some 1 in the year.
He has now completed 49 marathons.
Gives me my mental clarity, you know. Yeah, so it is definitely not a fun.
And later this month, he will make it 50 in his 50th different state.
And then I ran the Lincoln Marathon for my 3rd. And I think I saw somebody there, like a 50 state shirt on.
Okay.
I was like, oh. And so I was like, well, I'll do one in every state.
So to complete 50 and 50, he will run in the Charleston Marathon in Nevada at the end of this month.
I'm typically not a nervous or anxious person, but it's starting to creep in. I haven't technically done it yet, you know, and it's an extreme sport, and like you don't want to count your chickens until you cross that finish line.
What started on a whim has become something that will put him in an exclusive club.
And it became something attainable, I felt. Difficult, but attainable, and just because it was hard doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. It's probably one of my greatest accomplishments.
And this won't be the end of his running career.
Running community, it's really cool, and they all understand the shared kind of pain and joy. You don't get that in a lot of places.
Now, based on stats from all 50 states marathon clubs, Danny will be one of 2,400 people to complete 50 marathons in all 50 states. GMQC at 11. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back. Let's take a look at what's coming up on our 4 o'clock show today, The Current. Good morning, Shelby.
Hey, good morning. It's Tuesday, so coming up today on The Current, we'll have another edition of all things women in sports. Also today, we're talking about a Quad City biking legend. For more than 40 years, Dean Mathias has been a Quad City biking fixture, and he's known for riding a seatless bike. He logs about 8,500 miles a year, and he's also ridden in 22 RAGBRAIs. He is known on the RAGBRAI Trail for his generosity to all of his fellow riders, often the first one out, but the last one in because he's busy helping take care of everybody else. Dean has spent years teaching the next generation, so now the Quad City Bicycle Club is raising money for a statue in his honor. We'll tell you all about it this afternoon, right here on The Current from 4 to 5 o'clock. So I will see you soon. But for right now, let's get you one last check of your storm forecast.
Thanks, Shelby. And there are some big updates there here to our weather impact. Again, it's this evening time frame. We got 6 p.m. to midnight for those strong to severe storms. And the best way to plan and prepare is download that WQ88 Plus app. Right after this, coming up in about 5 minutes or so, both Andrew Stutzky and I will be breaking down this new breaking weather update. And that's an upgrade to our severe storm threat. And it's for our furthest southeast counties. We got Henry County on the Illinois side of the river, the furthest southeast portion there, Bureau County and Knox County there as well. You see that 4 out of 5 risk. And what is that 4 out of 5 risk for? It's for that tornado threat. We're seeing that elevated 4 out of 5 risk. Notice earlier, just about 20 minutes ago, I was talking about that different coloring in there. That was a 4 out of 5 risk. That's where we have the greatest area of concern. We're going to break this down in a whole lot more detail coming up here in just a few minutes. So download that 8 Plus app, and we'll be breaking it all down there.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us today. And again, stick with us for that severe weather coverage. Have a great day, Quad Cities.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is Tuesday, March 10th. The time right now is just a few minutes after 12 o'clock. I'm meteorologist Andrew Stutzky.
I'm weather anchor Peter Warner, and some breaking weather news that came in during the 11 o'clock newscast. It was kind of funny. I was getting ready. We had about 10 seconds until the weather hit started, and Andrew goes, 4. I'm like, what? Level 4 risk.
Thinking it was golf or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it is definitely escalating, the severe weather threat that is. And we're literally taking this an hour at a time. I mean, every hour we get new information. And this past hour, the new information was that upgrade to a rare 4 out of 5 risk for severe storms, especially for areas southeast of the Quad Cities. So the forecast is still trending in the wrong direction. It's a direction we don't want to see it trend in terms of getting that severe storm threat in here and the tornado threat ramping up as well. So what we're going to do is it's not so much an Ask Andrew, even though we use the intro for this. It's more of a severe storm discussion.
Yep.
So our topic today is focused solely on what may likely go down here this evening and to get you at home prepared. But it is an opportunity, too, that you can send in your questions regarding our threat this evening as well.
Yep, and you can text them to us. If you're on Facebook, of course, put them in the chat. But if you want to text them to us, that number is 309-304-0888. You can see it at the bottom of your screen now.
There it is.
There she is.
Just like magic.
Oh, my goodness.
I think it's Alec that did that.
I think so.
Okay, thanks, Alec. I'm assuming it's him back there.
Yeah, typically is.
Yes. So we're going to dive right in. We're going to go over the weather impact alert first. We'll go over the ingredients, the new update. We'll look at some satellite data, some temperature data. We're essentially just going to unload all of the information that we have right now at this instant in an easy to understand format so you guys can see exactly what we're seeing and make decisions regarding what you're going to do this evening based on that data.
Yes, and again, we've said this a lot here, right? It's be prepared, not scared.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the goal of these streams. We're not trying to scare you or blow it out of proportion. We're trying to let you know that this actually is a pretty significant situation we're now looking at and that you should be prepared and the best ways to do that.
Exactly, and it's not a guarantee that you're going to see a damaging tornado. It's not a guarantee that you're going to see severe weather. It's impossible to pinpoint exactly where and which storm is going to go where. But what we can do is we can give you a general idea of where storms will form and likely move. Again, if somebody could predict exactly what hometown was going to get hit and when, they'd be a zillionaire at this point.
Bazillionaire.
Bazillionaire, yeah.
Add a B in front of that.
It's just not possible, not possible. But what we can do is we can give you a general idea of the areas that we're monitoring. So let's start right off the bat, top of the show here, the weather impact alert. Now, Peter, we're seeing some new data actually moving this up a little bit.
Yep, I shifted it right before the 11 to 6 p.m. Our house model, the rapid refresh model, has kind of shifted that timing up just a tad, right? Because it's all going to depend on when does this boundary move through, when do we get the clearing and that moisture. And I think that's timing up to 6 p.m. I think it's good to give you that extra hour there with the latest data that we're seeing.
Yeah, and we've seen a couple of solutions that try to bring in what we call elevated thunderstorms, or storms that have a very high cloud base to them, even sooner than that, perhaps 2 to 3 o'clock. Now, those are likely not going to be the ones that give us all the trouble.
No.
That's just going to be a little pre-gaming, if you will, for some of the storms that are going to be coming in this evening.
Yeah, it's the best. It's the best way to think of it is, it's just getting started, and it's kind of almost adding more instability to the atmosphere because we do have that stable pocket of air of loft. And we call it the cap. I know we've been talking about that a lot, but this will break down the cap a little bit and allow these storms later to grow and grow rapidly once that cap breaks down.
Yep, all setting the stage for what goes down later this evening. The breaking news that Peter got to share during GMQC at 11, right off the bat, you notice we've had an escalation here in the severe storm zones. This is that rare 4 out of 5 threat that we're talking about. It is not as rare as a 5, but I tell you what, it's not often you see 4s get on the board.
One last year, maybe?
One last year, yep.
Oof.
So most years you might get one, some years you may get none, but we're back up to a 4 out of 5. And notice which areas it's concentrated on. It's the same areas that we showed you where that stronger tornado potential exists, where we could see those possible up to EF3 strength tornadoes. Let's zoom in a little bit tighter here so you can see more hometowns populate on the map in terms of who is in this risk. At this point, I think it's safe to say that more the majority of you in Bureau County, you might as well assume you're under that 4 risk.
I agree.
If I was being really picky, I would have actually bumped that up to Walnut, right along the Bureau County, Whiteside County border, and then maybe backtracked it just a little bit further into Anawan, maybe just outside of Geneseo.
I agree.
But again, that's just me being picky. But if you're close to the 4, I want you to treat it as such. You know, just because there's a line there doesn't mean that that's the case. Let's go down into Henry County. There's Stark County, all of Stark County now in the 4 out of 5. Nearly all of Knox County also in the 4 out of 5. Galesburg, Knoxville, Abington, McQuon, Williamsfield, you are there. And then, of course, as we get down here into our other hometowns, you know, just outside of Monmouth and Roseville, but still you're close enough that I would treat it as if you were in the 5 as well.
Yeah, and even so, if like you're still in that 3 risk, which is still a pretty significant risk that we could be talking about here. And we're still seeing that potential kind of right along that same line for those EF3 plus here as well. The Peoria area as well. I know we've had a couple people from the area. You guys are in that 4 out of 5 risk as well.
Yeah, and Peoria seems, the last several days has been kind of the center stage of all of this, where it looks like, you know, if somebody asked me, where is the center part of the worst of the storms? Where is home base, if you will? Peoria kind of looks to be smack dab in the middle of everything there. Though we've also seen new data coming in late this morning, not early this afternoon, suggesting a little bit of a northward trend. And that could even potentially include, yes, the Quad Cities Metro. No, we're not in a 4 out of 5 in the Metro, but look at how close we are to the 3. So, you know, we can't even rule out severe weather coming into the Metro this evening.
No, and that inched its way closer yesterday, too. We saw slowly but surely. It started with that 3 kind of in that Burlington to Kewanee, Princeton, Peru line, and it slowly creeped its way up to be kind of almost Rock Island County in that 3 now. And you could almost say portions of Scott County's in there as well. I think right along the river. It's very close, but
very much,
close. Yeah, portions of Scott County in there as well. So Quad City Metro impacts are definitely possible as well.
Yeah, close enough for sure. Let's go to what's going on outside right now. We're going to kind of set up the conditions that will go together to support this threat as we head into the evening. We've had some fog this morning, but no doubt you've noticed the humidity to the air as you're stepping outside. Yeah.
We were saying you can smell it almost.
You can. It's got an interesting smell to it, that spring-like smell. Is in the air. National Weather Service, of course, actually just put out their own hand analysis, or what we call a surface analysis, showing us where the fronts are. You can clearly see where that front is if you look at the map here, where the warm front or the stationary front is currently established. And we're talking about roughly right in through here, and then it snakes down as you go to Chicago because of the impact of Lake Michigan. But that's where the boundary is right now that will be responsible for the storm development heading into the first wave, perhaps as early as this afternoon. Again, not expecting a whole lot of severe from that, but the more intense wave will be coming in as we head into the evening, as this boundary slowly shifts to the south along the Kewanee to kind of Galesburg to Burlington route.
And that's exactly where we're seeing that 4 risk. And another way to kind of put in perspective where we're seeing this is winds as well, as this kind of shifts its way further to the south later. The winds are going to be something we're watching as well, right? Because wind direction can indicate the front. And you'll see that north wind pushing down. That's what we're seeing here in the Quad Cities right now. That's why our temperature is at 62, is we have that north wind moving through the area. Aloft, I know there's different wind directions, but the north wind and the extent of it and the cold air beating out that moist air is going to be very important.
Yep, exactly. And that cold air coming off of Lake Michigan is very heavy. It's dense. Cold air is that way, and the cold air usually rules. So that's why, again, we're kind of favoring that more southerly solution for the front itself. But there's also a couple other things that work, too, that could move that front a little bit further to the north. And that's why, literally, as we go through the rest of this afternoon, we have to keep track of where that front exists, because that will be the area, especially along and south of it, where you're going to get the most intense weather.
I mean, kind of, it's a perfect recipe almost. Here's those winds I was talking about. It kind of puts into perspective where that boundary is. You can see here in the Quad Cities, there's a little mini low right there that's developed. There's one of those mini lows. There's these little pulses of energy along it. But where you're seeing those wind directions right now is where that boundary is currently, and where it ends up is going to be very important. And also something to keep in mind, think about this spin right along this boundary. the shear is going to be very strong there. You have winds coming in from the northeast, and you have a south to southwest wind coming in on the other side of the boundary. You get that shear at the surface, then in the upper levels, it slowly tilts its way to be from the west. That's exactly kind of the ripe environment for tornadoes that we're seeing right now.
Yeah, and like you said, you can easily see it on the map there. Looks like some kind of mini low pressure moving in kind of just east of the QC Metro. And then you can see our main low pressure system, the one that we're kind of more concerned with for development later this afternoon into this evening, is just now kind of coming into Ottumwa.
Yep.
And it's not moving very fast at all. I mean, early this morning, it was in eastern parts of Nebraska, kind of western Iowa and into Kansas, and now it's only made its way into south central Iowa. So it's a slow mover, but that's kind of the lifting mechanism you need to get some of these storms going. Again, perhaps as early as this afternoon. We'll see about that.
Yeah, and this warm front is creeping. That's why we saw the fog development, because it's moving so slowly. It's allowing that warm, moist air to kind of move over those cooler surfaces. That's what's caused all this fog this morning.
Yeah, and speaking of the fog, there is a dense fog advisory down in this region of our area for a little while, at least for, I think, for a couple of hours.
Yep.
So fog down there, and then you've got some clearing here to the east. In fact, this is very important because of all this sunshine, and this is expected to continue, it looks like, for at least a couple more hours. This is where you're going to build the majority of that storm energy. And as that low pressure system moves into all this clearing and utilizes that storm energy later today, that's why we're expecting some intense thunderstorms in that area.
Yeah, I mean, it lines up perfectly with what the SPC is saying. Our house model has had that clearing here through right around 4 or 5 p.m. all day as well. So very consistent trend that's playing out. The scenario is verifying, as we like to say, that our house model was portraying.
Yep, lots and lots of thinning of the clouds there before the clouds start to get a little bit more oppressive to the southwest. Now that we have visible satellite too, and we'll get this longer into the evening thanks to the later sunsets, the satellite will be another tool we're going to use to show when storms will likely first start sprouting here, because of course you need the taller clouds to start, then the storms will follow. So we're going to be watching the satellite very, very closely as we get into this evening before sunset. It's a dynamic setup. I mean, the front is very sharp.
Yep.
Big temperature swings on both sides. You've got snow to the north in Minnesota and Wisconsin, and then moisture coming up from the Gulf to the south.
Yeah, it's the perfect recipe.
It really is.
Which is never a good sign. We don't like to see these recipes come together.
No.
That's what we're looking at here.
That's one recipe we want to send back to the kitchen.
Yeah,
we don't want
seriously,
that.
right?
So as your low pressure approaches, there's the location of the boundary. Again, that's where you're going to see the strongest storms. The easiest way for you to tell what your risk is going to be is about after 3, 4 o'clock this afternoon. You go outside. If it is very warm, it's very humid, and you don't need a coat on, it's very sticky, you're under the threat of severe weather today.
Yep.
If at that same time you go outside and it's freezing, you need a coat, it's windy and cool and damp, you're likely not going to see severe weather today. That's the easiest way to tell.
No, pay attention to the temperature and also
Yep.
the wind direction that you're getting. Again, when we have that north cold air coming in, I mean, yeah, you can get the elevated thunderstorms, right? But the major lift is going to come where you're seeing that south wind and you're going to be seeing that moisture. So notice your wind speed too. And I know this is going to shift a little bit, but it's going to sometimes, Mother Nature itself can tell you what's going to happen.
That's right. She's in charge after all.
She is.
So we're just the messengers at this point to tell you what's coming in. That's the depiction of where the front is by 7 o'clock this evening. And like Peter said, you know, once we get to 6 o'clock, that's when things start cooking, and that's where we really, really have to watch the location of that front to maximize not only the severity of the storm, but the tornado potential as well.
Yep, that's our biggest concern here.
And it makes sense. I mean, when you look where the SBC has the tornado risks,
It's right there.
it's right in that zone there. So that's exactly, you know, what they're thinking. They're thinking a similar boundary placement, similar track of low pressure, getting into that juicy air mass, and that's where you get the tornado threat.
And something I like with that graphic we were just showing, that's our house model. And
Yes.
that's verifying very well with the conditions that the SPC is looking at, which is what we're going to show you coming up here. It's usually a good sign that it's kind of likely the scenario that we're going to see play out. Potentially.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of changes, but it's a good sign.
Great point. Right on track there. Let's go to the tornado threat zone. which has also been ramped up to a 4 out of 5. Again, that was the main driver for this 4 out of 5 risk, was the increasing tornado threat. And like we showed you earlier this morning, where we expected, kind of those stronger tornadoes to be, the potential for those anyway, it's kind of in that same corridor.
Yep.
Most of Bureau County, all of Stark County there. I would say all of Knox County at this point, and a little sliver of Henry County on the Illinois side of the river. So
the southeast portion.
yeah, you can tell this is not going to be an Iowa event today.
No.
This is going to be an Illinois event today. And by Illinois, I mean west central Illinois, and a little bit of northern Illinois will be on in this today.
Yeah, I mean, our only Iowa hometowns that are really looking at a threat is Burlington, probably.
Yeah.
And hometowns right along the river there.
Yep, so not much of an Iowa thing unless you're in Burlington. The rest of us not looking too bad, at least when it comes to the threat of tornadoes. It's all in that dark red and that purple fuchsia zone. That's our greatest area of concern.
Yep.
Here's what we showed you this morning. This was the new update as of 8 o'clock, showing where we could have seen, or we could see that potential for a few of those stronger tornadoes, and it matches up exactly with where the 4 out of 5 is in place.
I mean, and it's held consistent. This is the new conditional intensity group, and you'll notice kind of in the top there it says EF2, EF3, EF4. Those EF4s, very rare. You're not going to, just because we're seeing a 4, that doesn't mean we're going to see that EF4 plus conditional intensity group. This just shows with the dynamics, or kind of the ingredients, right, as we like to talk about, how strong storms could be, and the tornadoes itself could be. And we're looking at that EF3 potential, and if not, EF2 throughout many of our hometowns as well. Again, dynamics are there. It's just a matter of where they put themselves together at this point.
Where do they all come together perfectly to create that dangerous storm? Now, the other thing this should tell you on the potential tornado intensity map, it's another tool to help you make an informed decision on what you're going to do with storms that come through this evening. Now, I'm not going to boss you around. I'm not going to tell you to do this or that, but I'm going to give you this piece of advice. If I had a family member that lived, say, in a mobile home, or lived in a manufactured home that doesn't have a basement that's on a slab. Even if you have a crawl space, doesn't matter. Somebody without a basement, if I had a family member that was in that dark red zone where we have that potential, not a guarantee, but a potential of seeing that stronger tornado, I think this is one of those evenings where it's worth a few hours of inconvenience. Let's get those folks to a more substantial shelter. If you've got a friend, if you've got a family member that's got a more robust dwelling, and especially if they have a basement, I think this is one of those evenings to ride out the storm for a few hours anyway, just to be on the safe side.
Yep, and of course there's community storm shelters as well. That's always a great option. I know rest stops have them. That's always a great option for storm shelters. And again, the worst case scenario, you get to spend time with friends and family.
Right.
That's a much better situation than having to deal with the consequences.
It's honestly one of the few times, like I said this morning, that I hope we're wrong.
I hope we are too.
I hope it's dead wrong. I hope all of it goes off to the east or just doesn't develop whatsoever. But you can hope as much as you want. That's not going to do anybody good. What you have to do, like you said, you have to prepare.
Be prepared. Don't be scared.
Exactly. The more prepared you are, the less scared you will be in all likelihood. So there's the zone maps. You now know where the tornado threat is. You know where the strong tornado threat is. Hail is another threat that we're monitoring as well, because we are talking about, like Peter said in our previous stream, we talk about this updraft helicity. It's a fancy term for how fast upward the winds are moving inside the storm, and it is fast today.
And if you have those stronger, fast updrafts, that's many times stronger than the force of, the downdraft of the winds. You're just going to allow these pieces of hail to just keep on spinning up in the atmosphere, attach more water particles to itself, and they're going to grow. That's how you get growing hail, is the strong updrafts. And you can see we got that level 3 out of 5 threat for that hail. Along and south of the boundary, you'll have the hail. Further to the north even, we still have, north of the boundary, we still have that potential for the large hail with this system. If those storms do break north of it, because of the warm air rising over that dense cold air at such a strength, that's where you see the hail risk north of the front.
It is a good setup for that. So vehicles in the garage this evening, or carports if you can. If you don't have that option, well, there's not too many other things you can do about it. Let's not run outside while it's hailing either, because some of these could be the size of golf balls, and in the worst case scenario, perhaps tennis ball size.
Yeah, we could be looking at, we have the SIG, I think a SIG 1 out of 2. Hail only has 2 conditional intensity groups here. But we do have that too, and that's 2-inch plus size hail potential throughout pretty much the whole viewing area here. So again, it's just the potential, but that shows how strong these updrafts are going to be to allow these hail cores to really develop.
Yep, very robust updrafts with these storms that'll be coming through. Lastly, the wind zones. The wind is kind of our lowest threat today, if you will. And I must not have saved this either, so give me a second and we'll go back in.
Yep.
And we'll adjust this. It's got tomorrow's data on there, and of course we're concerned with today. So let's back this up. We'll go to today. We'll take the color table where it needs to be, and there's the wind zone. In fact, we don't even have a SIG for wind today.
No conditional intensity group. So that means your typical 58-mile-per-hour wind gusts with severe storms.
Yeah, we're not expecting the 75, 85, 95. We're not expecting a derecho or anything like that. Definitely none of that today.
These are supercellular structure storms.
Exactly. So let's put that all in a summary quick, then we'll go to the timeline. We'll go through Future Track, 2 examples of Future Track with 2 different models, and then we'll get to your questions here. And then we'll, of course, get ready for coverage this evening. There's the breakdown. Wind 2 out of 5, hail 3 out of 5, tornadoes 4 out of 5, especially southeast of the Quad Cities. Again, not everyone is tornadoes 4 out of 5 today. That is only if you live south and east of the Quad Cities. Here's the quick timing. Not much change. What I've done, though, is I popped up 2 to 4 to a 1 just to account for a couple of these perhaps early cells. Yeah.
Some of these bubbles, if they get north of the boundary, that's where that hail plays in.
Yeah.
That's what we're seeing from the National Weather Service.
Exactly. So we're going to account for that, but you can still see the meat and potatoes of this is still centered between 6 and roughly 10 o'clock, kind of really maximizing right around 8, 9 p.m. This evening. So it doesn't really matter where you live in regards to the timing, because these are going to be moving very quickly. And regardless, with the threat being so high today, I think everyone needs to be on guard at the same time. We don't have to worry about staggering, the threat, where our eastern hometowns are going to be 2 hours later, western 2 hours earlier. I wouldn't even worry about that.
One set development time.
Exactly.
So they all bubble together. This isn't a frontline system where it's going to track through the area.
Right. And it makes it easier, too. Keep the messaging the same.
Yep.
Okay, let's take a deep breath. Let's go into Future Track and see what the latest version has to tell us here. What you're seeing there is what Peter was talking about, that early development potential. Now, our model is not excited about that in terms of, thunderstorms. There's another one that is a little more excited, and we'll show you that here in a second. But we're starting to see something very consistent here, and that is this, that
6 p.m.
initial development. As Peter was saying, 6 o'clock is when we're starting to see that. And, it is very concerning. You look at this, just how much they grow.
It explodes
in an hour.
almost, really, you could say.
Yeah.
I know that sounds like a crazy word, but it goes from maybe some moderate rainfall thunderstorm activity within an hour to covering a whole county. With the dark red in there, that indicates usually probably a hail core. That's usually a good sign. And it's got the bending and curving, which we were talking about earlier, Andrew.
Yeah, you're looking at the radar signatures, and I'll back this up again so you can see what we're talking about. You're looking at the kidney bean shape, or you're looking for some kind of, I guess what you could call a tail. Let me put a pause point in here, and then I can draw. So what I'm referencing, a couple different things right here. You see a little hook.
Yep.
And you're also seeing kind of some bending in here with that cell there.
And that indicates the spinning.
Yep. That's indicating the supercellular nature of these storms, the large hail, the spinning, the tornado potential, and they're going right through the areas that we showed you were the greatest concern. And now our Future Track model actually has these just a bit farther north.
Yep.
You see they're actually riding along Interstate 80. So I want to emphasize that is a possibility. It is not a guarantee it goes this far north, but it's a possibility that something could sneak up to the I-80 corridor, including the Quad Cities, and even cause us a little bit of trouble after 6 o'clock.
Yeah, I mean, that's a trend too, right? I mean, we're still at a 3 out of 5. I know that 4 out of 5 is the biggest concern here, right? But that doesn't mean that those who are in that 3 aren't out of the clear.
Right.
And I know we're messaging a lot about the 4 right now because that's, of course, the highest concern, but we're still concerned with that 3 as well.
Yep, and you can see the motion quickly to the northeast, and we're wrapping this and putting it to bed by about 10.
Yep.
So that looks to be the end.
Yeah, storm energy is going to be kaput.
It'll be wiped out completely by then for the most part. So that's Future Track. That's the in-house model. Let's pop up one more model, and then we'll get to your questions here, and then we'll prepare ourselves for what's coming our way later here into the afternoon.
Nap time?
Nap time, yes. Going to get a quick nap, come back in. I think everybody's here tonight, right?
Yeah, Morgan's will be in the
here.
beast at
Yep.
4, 5, and 6, and then she'll be ready to track any damage.
Any
'Cause we
damage.
don't want to chase at night.
No, gosh,
I know
no.
I've had some people messaging us, let's not chase at night unless you have plenty of experience, and even then, it's still dangerous. So keep that in mind. But yeah, Morgan will be in the beast. You and James will be here, and we're going to find something fun for me to do.
Yeah, we're all going to be busy, I'm sure, with lots going
Yeah.
on. So the whole team is here. It's a rarity because usually one or two of us is out just because of the schedule, but everybody will be in this evening tracking these for you. So rest assured, we've got it covered. Every resource we can get our hands on, we will use this evening. Here's the rapid refresh, by the way. This is the hourly, so this updates every single hour. And the only thing new I'm noticing with this one is we're not as robust on that 2 to 3 o'clock window.
No.
At least here.
Yep.
You can see it's more into Chicago.
Chicagoland, that's where the clearing is right now, too.
Yeah. But we're still on the mark with that 6 o'clock.
Yep, that's when they bubble. And look how quickly they bubble.
Boop, there it is. Yes.
And that's a matter of what, like 45 minutes? It explodes?
Yep.
Yeah.
One initial cell there in northern Henry County. Again, this is not a guarantee that these are exactly where they're going to be at this
No.
time, but it gives us a good idea of the coverage and the timing of where these storms will be.
Yep.
And yeah, it's remarkably close to what the graph, our in-house model, is doing.
Agreement is a good thing.
Yeah.
At least in terms of knowing the areas that we're concerned about in coverage.
We like to see agreement. The one thing that our in-house model is not doing is bringing all this rain tomorrow morning. We will have some kind of rain in here tomorrow morning, but
I agree.
nothing severe.
No.
Nothing severe.
It's going to be on the cold front, maybe a gusty wind, but not a severe gusty wind, because
Yeah.
we're going to see a huge swing in temperatures.
Oh my goodness, yes. Brace yourself, because the shorts and short sleeves weather is going away, and it's going away quickly.
Yep.
So a lot of consistency on timing. We are seeing consistency on coverage. Again, what we're waiting to see, and we will see at the very last moment, is where do we see the first storms pop? Likely it will be south of Interstate 80 as long as the front can stay down there.
Yep. And if it shifts, that's where we start to see that coverage push closer to Metro and along it, the east-west line along it.
Exactly. Last update, then we'll get to your questions. What is the schedule for the rest of the afternoon? So we're doing the stream right now on the A+ app and on our Facebook page. At 1 o'clock, the National Weather Service is going to send up a weather balloon that will sample and give us an idea of what the atmosphere is doing. I believe our own reporter Jonas is going to be there.
I just saw him peek his head around. I was wondering if he had a question.
I wonder if he got in touch with the National Weather Service to see if we can get in there with the launch of the balloon there.
Should I go?
Sure, you want to see if he's back there? Yeah, and then we'll go over this quick and get to your questions. So 1 o'clock, we get the weather balloon. What does the weather balloon tell us? It tells us how the instability is. Are we seeing growing instability? It also tells us, is there a cap in place? And what a cap is it's a layer of warm air aloft that would suppress storm development until later this evening. Again, that's why we think most of the afternoon is relatively storm-free, because we're going to have a cap in place. Then at 3 o'clock, we will get another update from the Storm Prediction Center on the storm zones. Is everything good to go where it's at? Do we need to shift a few things? I'm not expecting much change when we get to the 3 o'clock outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. Coverage, when does that begin? So don't forget, we have the current with Shelby Kluver, Chief Meteorologist James Zahara. That begins at 4 o'clock. We have News 8 at 5, News 8 at 6. There will be another live stream on the 8+ app at 5:30. That'll be the next one. And then from there, depending on the timing of the storms, that will then dictate when we go into full coverage, not only on the A+ app, but on air when warranted. So you're going to see more coverage on the A+ app than you will on air, depending on what the storms are doing. We're not abandoning our over-the-air viewers.
No, of course not.
But if the storm is not intense enough to warrant cutting into programming, we will always be on the A+ app first.
Yes.
Just to give you that heads up.
Yes.
But we will be cutting into programming when it's necessary, like a tornado warning, or if we've got a storm coming into a major population with some large hail. That's always the protocol. But the A+ app, the streaming app, is going to give you the best coverage, bar none, compared to getting it on air. Now, if you say to yourself, Andrew, I don't have a smart TV, I have, an older TV that can't do it. Where can I get that extended coverage? You can get it on your phone, your smartphone. You can either go to the website, WQAD.com. There's a live banner at the top of the page. That is the exact same stream that's going to our 8 Plus app. Or if you have the News 8 app, open it up. You'll see a Watch Live button at the bottom. Hit that. It's the exact same stream that the 8 Plus folks are getting.
And that new app. I know some of the upgrades aren't out for everyone yet, but the new app, it's great. Highly recommend.
Very nice. It makes it super easy to find the live stream, super easy to find everything that you need.
Yep.
So this is what we have got going on now. Again, our next stream won't be taking place likely until this evening. But we have plenty of other opportunities for coverage. Of course, we have our social media pages.
Yep, we'll be posting on there a lot.
Yep, all of that will remain up to date. So multiple ways to keep you going this afternoon. Again, I'm not going to be one of those people that says cancel your plans, hunker down, stay inside. You have all the technology you need right in the palm of your hand to stay on top of what's going to happen this evening. You have baseball practice this evening? Great. Just stay up to date with the radar, the forecast, everything. You've got it right in the palm of your hand.
Exactly.
And you'll be able to make decisions.
It's the best way to think of it.
Exactly, yes. We're not trying to dictate what you need to do
No.
and tell you to cancel your plans or
We're not your
anything
mother.
like that. No, exactly. We are not
make
your
that
mother.
decision.
We know that you guys, with all this information we just gave you, can now make an informed decision as to what you need to do for this evening.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's how we like it.
Ready for some questions?
Okay, let's get the questions, and then
Oh
I'm going
my
to go home and
goodness.
get maybe a sandwich and a quick nap, and then we'll be back.
Sandwich
this evening.
sounds good.
Yeah.
I'm hungry. Oh my goodness. Billy, what's up, Billy? How are you? With this newest outlook out, is there a possibility the SPC issuing a PDS watch this afternoon?
Now that we have a 4 out of 5 in place, I think that is becoming more and more likely.
It's trending in that direction again. Not a guarantee, but it's possible.
Yeah.
Much more now, so.
And do not be surprised if that tornado watch includes the Metro Quad cities, probably right up to Interstate 80.
I think so too.
Now, we have not seen them talk about a watch or anything yet, want to preference that, but that is a possibility.
I agree.
Don't be surprised if that watch includes right up to the Metro Quad cities and even a couple of our Iowa hometowns south of Interstate 80. So as soon as we hear word of a watch coming out, we'll let you know.
Yep.
But definitely we're planning on I would guarantee a tornado watch at this point.
Yeah, it's pretty much.
It's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Bradford?
So Bradford, that would be, if memory serves me correctly, heading down into the Peoria
I think that's right near Peoria,
region.
right?
Yep, you're kind of getting into Bureau County and also Stark County. Yes, Bradford is in the hot zone.
Yep.
That's the zone where, everything's maxed out in terms of tornado potential and severe storm potential. So, yep, absolutely.
Yep. Good afternoon, Tracy. How bad will Monmouth get hit and how long will these storms last? There's no guarantee on how bad you're going to get hit, I will say. You can see you guys are close to that 4 out of 5 risk. Almost treat it, as we like to say, kind of if you're right near that 4 out of 5 risk, kind of treat it like you're in that 4 out of 5 risk, right? So just be prepared. You have that elevated tornado threat. You're kind of right along that Highway 34 corridor where we see it. Now, time frame, 6 to about 10, I think is when the peak of these storms are looking to move through. Just keep an eye on the radar, keep an eye here on us. We'll let you know where they're bubbling and where they're not.
Perfect. Yep.
Best way to look at it. QC area?
Yeah, again, we're right on the edge. Our tornado threat is not extremely high. You notice in the update here, the tornado zone for the Quad Cities is 1, borderlining on a 2. So, could we see an isolated tornado here? Absolutely.
Yep.
But the juicier air mass for stronger tornado development, absolutely to the southeast of the metro.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
Viewer says, I'm super scared of storms and I live in Burlington. How bad are the chances for tornadoes there?
So Burlington, yes, you're in the 3. You're in the 3 out of 5.
On the fringe.
On the fringe there. Yes, it is a real possibility that is something you could see this afternoon. But remember, if you know where you need to be, in your basement.
Yep.
If you don't have the basement, we're in the interior room, the closet, the bathroom. You've got the blankets, you've got the pillows to put over top of you. If you're prepared and know where you need to be, no reason to be scared.
Just charge your phone.
Yep. Phone's charged too. Let's
That's a
make sure
big
we have
one.
that. Yep.
Phone charge, no weather batteries. If you have a weather radio, make sure those batteries are changed out. We always like to say spring forward, check those batteries anyway, and we just did that. So
Yeah.
a good time to check those batteries too.
Good advice.
Tracy, you said she can smell the humidity. Yeah, right? That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Jane from Roseville, is Warren County in Illinois in the path of the tornadoes?
There is no tornado path because
No.
we can't predict those ahead of time.
No.
I've already seen some posts on social media posting what you talked about, the helicity, the lift and the spin. Just because people are posting those tracks on social media, that does not guarantee where the tornado is going to touch down.
No.
It's one of my biggest pet peeves is when those things get posted because it's not accurate.
No, and then they show like tour parameters at one
Yes.
single time, and you think, oh my goodness, no. We have the zones.
Yep.
That doesn't guarantee that exact placement in each zone. Nothing's going to
Exactly.
be perfect. No model is ever perfect. If it was perfect, again, they'd be a bazillionaire.
Yeah. They wouldn't be doing what they're doing.
No.
Because they'd be retired on a very warm island
I
somewhere.
would say you could buy a private island at that
yeah,
point.
exactly.
Tornadoes stay freezing tomorrow. Yep. Is it smart to have outdoor practices starting at 5:30 in Davenport? I'd say probably fine.
I think
Just
you're
watch
okay
the
that
radar.
early. Yeah. Again, we have so many tools now. Nobody should be caught off guard with this.
Nope.
You've got interactive radar on your phone. You're going to get an alert when the watch comes out. You're absolutely going to get an alert when a warning comes out. What I want you to do, though, if you're going to do that, is you just have to remain aware. Maybe you're checking in on the app every 10 minutes or so.
Yep.
10, 15 minutes.
And then again, keep an eye on what it feels like outside.
Right.
What's your temperature feel like, and where is your wind coming from? If your wind's coming from the north, it's a good sign. From the south, maybe start to kind of consider keeping an eye closer.
Exactly.
Will these be fast-moving storms?
They will be moving quickly.
Yeah.
And you're seeing that with the future track model, the fact that we have about a 4-hour window, I think,
Yep.
of these storms. So they are going to be moving quick. They're not going to be screaming.
No.
I don't think we're going to be screaming at 60 or 70 miles an hour or anything
No.
like that. So today you're going to have time to react.
Yeah.
It's not one of those days where we're telling you, you know what, you're not going to have a lot of time. You got to think quick. You got to go. You're going to have some time to react.
It's what's going to be fast about these is the development.
The
right?
development
Once
is
they
quick.
break that cap, and the cap might be broken by these
Yeah.
showers we're seeing right now. If that breaks, these things blossom. They're very robust once they get going. So it's just watching their radar and knowing once they get going. After that, say what, probably 35, 40 mile per hour speeds?
I
Guess,
think, yeah.
Looking at the data.
I think 40 is a good number.
Yeah.
Yeah. That gives you at least some time.
Yep. Let's see. Just, hope you don't have to drive from Galesburg to Bloomington and back. I hope not. That would not be fun.
That's not a good route to take
No, that's
today.
not a good route to take today. In Peru, and very worried. Again, there's no reason to be worried. Just be prepared.
Just be prepared. Exactly.
You stated these. How fast are we talking? Okay, we went through that one. Kiwani area, you're kind of in the bulk of it, you could say.
Yeah, I mean, Kiwani's right there.
Yep.
And that's one of the hot spots, if you will, that we've been talking about the last couple of days, right there in southeast Henry County.
Since there isn't a big wind event coming, there probably won't be a lot of power outages, right? Unless a tornado comes through.
Yeah, it's the power outage risk today is definitely driven by the hail and it's driven by the wind. On the plus side, the trees haven't leafed out.
No.
So there's not a lot of surface area for wind to grab onto.
Yep. It's harder for them to fall or tip
Yeah.
because I know leaves, you don't think they weigh that much, but think about how many leaves get on a branch.
Yeah.
Then you add in some weight. Not one single one, but all of them.
Yeah, that's the only piece of good news I have for you today.
Yeah, what about Aquaca? You guys are kind of right near that fringe of the 3, same with Burlington. So further off there to the west. Aquaca? I think that's right on the river. There she is.
There it is.
Yes.
Don't mind me.
But Aquaca, again, you guys are on that 3. You might be where we see that early development. But then it's going to kind of shift its way further to the east. That early development zone is Burlington, I would say, Roseville area. That's where they look to blossom.
Yeah.
And then shift their way further east after that. With the cloud coverage around Alexis and surrounding, is there a chance of storms not being intense?
So, can you read it one more time?
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
I was in the middle of a text message reading there.
With the cloud coverage around Alexis and surrounding, is there a chance of storms not being intense? Yes and no.
There's a small chance. There is an opportunity there.
Yep.
But we also have to remember, too, that it's not just the storm instability, if you will, that storm energy that we're utilizing today. We're also utilizing some very favorable winds that will latch on to some, even minor storm instability today is enough to get things cooking. You don't need like a 5,000 joules per kilogram type setup for today. Even 1,000 is all it takes.
Just enough.
Yeah.
That's enough. And remember, you might have the clouds, but if there's clearing in an area somewhat close by, these storms can still develop and move by you.
Exactly.
Tracy, your son should be fine at that time. This is an interesting one. Since Kewaunee has had several tornadoes in the past couple years, increase, or their coverage increase, does that mean it's more likely for another tornado again?
They're really, in terms of a correlation or a link, I can't say that there is one. It's basically a matter of chance where a tornado is going to drop. So just because, you had one as recently as, I believe it was last year, wasn't it?
I think nearby there was
there was a lot of tree damage.
I know there was.
It was either last year or the year before you had one.
And I know we were chasing out there last year when we had a wind event. We saw maybe some mostly scud, but there was kind of report of a funnel nearby there as well.
Yeah. So I'd say no direct link. It's all by chance.
Yep. So again, back to the clouds. It's cloudy and a little windier and cooler. Does that cause storms to weaken and sun helps them get stronger? Yeah, the sun helps them get stronger. Again, if you're seeing that north wind as of right now, that means you're in the cold sector, which means it's going to be harder for those storms to develop because the warm air has got to rise all the way on top of that, which means their tops, or the base of the clouds, I guess you should say, are going to be higher in the atmosphere. Where we're in the warm sector, the clouds are going to be lower to the surface. That means tornado development is easier.
Exactly.
So something to keep in mind.
He's so smart. Let me tell you how proud of this guy I am.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, coming in, just getting into weather school, look at all of this stuff he's picked up.
Oh, thank you.
It's so impressive.
How bad is Galesburg going to get? Again, you guys are in the threat zone, the 4.
Yep.
What about Mineral? Trying to remember where Mineral
Why am I
is.
having a brain fart as to where?
Okay, this guy's been up since like 3 a.m. I should start answering all the questions for him.
There we go.
County.
You're right on the edge of Bureau County and Henry County.
Yeah.
Right there.
There she is.
Yep, you're in the 4.
Yep, you're in the
in
4.
the 4.
We are almost done with the questions here. I got to get this guy to sleep. I feel so
He's
bad.
got to get a
He's
nap.
hungry.
I've got to get a nap.
Oh, I got my coffee in, so we're good. And I got to sleep until 7:38.
Lucky.
I know.
Oh, my
right?
goodness.
Look at me. Watching from Abington, how's Tornado Alley looking? Well, it's starting to shift. Let's just say that.
Yes. Remember, we've talked about that multiple times.
Yeah.
About how we're seeing that expansion eastward.
I think I had a 20-minute story on that.
You did.
I didn't realize it went that long last year.
But it was good.
It was fun.
Very good story.
It's fun. I'm in Moline, but I live in Galva. When should I leave work? Probably by 5.
Yeah, you want to be home by 6 for
Yeah,
sure.
home by 6.
I mean, 6 still looks to be that time where things really start escalating, right at 6 and then after 6 o'clock.
Yep.
You definitely don't want to be caught driving in it.
No.
That's for sure.
No.
You want to be at home base by 6 o'clock.
Yep. I think that's all we got. We got, I guess, two quick hitters, and then we got a call.
Sure.
Taylor Ridge. Is that in the middle?
Taylor Ridge. Okay. Let's zoom back in.
Zoom back in, find you there.
I want to say it's closer to the Quad Cities.
That's what yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, there you
it
are.
is. Yep.
There you are. Yep.
I knew it
I was
was.
gonna say, I thought.
Yep.
I remember that was close to where we saw the tornadoes last year.
In Coyne Center.
Yep.
Yes. Yep. So ignore the white box where it says area of greatest concern because that's tied to a layer. But you can see 2 on the board for Taylor Ridge. So, it's there. It's isolated. I would say isolated at this point, and then really ramps up as you go southeast of Taylor Ridge, like Aledo, Viola, those areas.
Yep. Last one, Keithsburg.
Keithsburg. Okay, that one.
This is like quizzing us on our hometowns, like I'm sure smaller hometowns. Isn't that kind of near Galesburg, Monmouth, Roseville?
I'm thinking it's near, Galesburg, Monmouth, somewhere in there. Oh my gosh. New Boston.
Oh, we gotta go left.
Left. Isn't this terrible? I am failing.
There she is.
Failing Quad Cities geography today. I'm going to blame the lack of sleep right now.
Yeah.
But there it is.
Yeah, there it is.
And there's New Boston. 3. Yep. So also in that kind of elevated area there.
Oh, I'm so.
What?
I forgot Abington's mascot is the tornado.
That's right, it
That's
is.
what that joke was about. I'm
In
so sorry.
Abington.
I've shot a game there
Oh my
too.
gosh.
That's embarrassing on me. I've shot basketball there. I should have known that one.
Isn't that something?
Oh my goodness. All right. Just heard, Doug heard Galesburg is going to get it around 4 p.m. I don't know what.
4
model-
o'clock? That seems
what
early.
model is showing that? Maybe
That
some
seems
showers.
early.
Maybe those first kind of renegade showers that we're talking about.
Yeah.
That's it.
That seems very early to me.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know about that 4 o'clock stuff.
We got to do it. We got to get this guy to bed.
Yes, we're going to wrap it up so I can get home,
Yep.
get a little bit of sleep. We'll come back this evening.
Yes,
Again,
he'll
the
be here.
whole team's going to be here. So your only homework is to keep an eye on the radar, keep an eye on what we're telling you, social media, the streaming, everything. And then, of course, staying up to date when these storms come through this evening. If you can safely get pictures, and I mean safely, I don't
Safely.
want folks out in the middle of this thing trying to get pictures. If you do receive damage, of course, your reports of that would absolutely be appreciated, especially as soon as it happens if you can.
Yep.
Because we need to relay that to the National Weather Service folks so they know what's going on. Because believe it or not, some of your reports help them issue warnings
To get on her.
downstream of where this storm is going. So that would be greatly appreciated, whether it's Facebook, email, the
You can
website.
text us.
You can text us, the text number too.
Any of them.
All of them, those are good
We'll
avenues.
Take them all. We can
Yep.
put out, maybe we'll put out a Facebook post and say, drop your photos
Yeah.
here, drop your reports
Drop
here.
them all in the
I'll
comments.
post that. I'll be kind of managing social media and reports back there probably today and doing some other stuff. so.
Exactly. Yep. Other than that, deep breath. You've got this. We're going to be okay. We're going to survive this. You've got, again, the tools at your disposal to get yourself through this. And we're going to be there every step of the way.
We'll walk you through
That's
it.
right.
That's what we're here for. We track storms.
Yep, exactly. So, rest of the afternoon, again, take it easy. We'll meet you all back here this evening. As soon as those storms start popping, we'll let you know. All right?
Thank you so much.
All right, we'll see you later this evening.